Shalom. Shalom and welcome. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. I call these messages Chosen and Called. This is part 7. There's a lot of talk about what's going on in the world. We see what's unfolding. A lot of uncertainty, anxieties are ramping up and being magnified. There are people with different beliefs, many positions, conflict with one another, and everyone is watching, witnessing, and defining their surroundings as they see fit. But how much talk is there about things to do? And if you go to part 1, up to this one here, you'll see I'm bringing out some things to do. Specifically, my messages are to the set-apart ones of Yahuah. But whether you have a belief or what someone would call a faith or not, the conditions of this world are deteriorating, and there are things to do that will bring about some degree of comfort and understanding. And in this segment, I want to talk about build unity. Know how to build unity. Know how to forge relationships. Test the relationships. Examine the relationships that you have right now. Because if ever there was a time to start recognizing who your true friends, who your true brother, sister, who your true family. Identify those individuals. And this will come about asking questions. Do you love me? Do you know me? To what extent? How close are we? Make tough decisions, my brothers and sisters. If you find out that a friend, a brother, a sister, family, anyone close to you, if they answer your questions and demonstrate in their actions something that does not necessarily have your best interests, then you may want to set them aside, a little bit distance. Try to get the closest of people that you know that know how to love, know how to be concerned with your life as well as their own, and make the decisions necessary where you can come together as these things start falling apart in this world. My brothers and sisters, know when to not look back. Things going to ramp up. Chaos, civil unrest, wars. Things will be magnified in many ways than we anticipate. And you will find that if you're physically alive, those who know not to look back will be able to navigate to where they're supposed to go, where they're supposed to be. In other words, let us learn how to manage our curiosities and our concerns and know when to not look back. Let us focus and press forward. What lies ahead? What's the next step? Begin to have some discussions with individuals. What do you think is going on? What do you think is the next step? What will trigger your next step? And will you be successful at moving from point A to point B, to C, to D? Or will you get caught in congestion? And though you might desire to move from one point to the next, you're unable because it's just too congested. Know what it means to be proactive. Know what it means to establish goals and objectives. Know what it means to identify individuals that are being moved in a way that makes togetherness more acceptable. Let us, O Yahushua, learn how to manage weights timely. In other words, a lot of things are going to weigh on us. But how do we manage that weight? When do we release, let go? Don't worry about it. When do we hold on and endure? When do we contribute? When do we guard or preserve? Things to do. So to manage weights, know what weights are worth managing. Have that discussion. My brothers and sisters, know how to embrace discipline and judgment. Don't worry about a lot of time trying to defend negligent and reckless mistakes to preserve your ego. Let us learn when correction comes how to yield to correction. When something better comes, learn how to yield and release that old weight. Let us learn, my brothers and sisters, it is not about the person in the mirror preserving his or her ego. It's about learning, identifying what's best and moving on it. These messages, whether you consider yourself a chosen one or called or someone that does not fit this bill, look around you. The need to identify things to do is now. My prayer is for each of us to begin to take these matters serious, have the discussions, identify, and begin to show actions of groups forming together to weather the storm that's unfolding. I have a channel called White Rose Family Channel. White Rose Family, rather. I invite you to look at it. See if it piques your interest. See if it provides content that just may be of assistance for such a time as this. Enough said, my brothers and sisters. But I will say this. You see White Rose Family, hashtag White Rose Family. For I ask, the scriptures tell us sometimes to ask. I ask for your support. You might say, well, what? To forge ahead with the things that will be necessary for bringing like-minded people together. You never know the seed that you plant, what it yields, and what might come about in time. But that's enough said on that. To you who heard this message, more than anything, know, in spite of all that is unraveling and unfolding, there are things to do. Shalom.